Hello, everybody. Happy lunchtime today. This is a Thursday show with the attorney Margaret W. Wong, the expert in immigration cases, and she is awesome. She's doing awesome for 45, 46 years actually. In this month of February, she started in 1977 as an attorney in the United States. Only one desk, no secretary, no assistants, no paralegals, only Ms. Wong. And now she has over 70 people working with her in 9 offices in the United States of America, impacting the whole nation of the United States, and even been one of the voices that helped build the immigration court in the city of Cleveland, Ohio. It's an awesome building, and she was one of the attorneys that was on the board saying what are the needs that the attorneys have, and that is the only building that has a space for the attorney to talk to the client or to talk to the people that are in need of immigration help. That's because Ms. Wong has been such an impactful attorney, not only in the state of Ohio, but also many other states, as New York, as Georgia, Illinois, Tennessee, and well, many other states that the attorney Margaret W. Wong has worked with the immigration field. So let's welcome our attorney. Good morning or good afternoon, Ms. Wong. How are you doing today?
And I'm very, very good. Today I'm working in our Durham office. So the office is very different from what I usually do it when I'm in Cleveland.
Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate the effort that you make to join us in each show that we have. And well, I would like to start by talking about something which is more political than immigration, but um, we know or we heard that there are 9 Republican states that are filing a lawsuit against DACA again. So what is going on with these people, and what is going to happen with DACA? Is this going to disappear? Are they going to finish DACA, or this is just something that is presented in front of the court, but it's not going to happen anything important?
Actually, since President Obama started DACA, the damage has been done. When Trump was here, Trump already stopped the parole, or it took 9 months or a year to approve parole, even though parole is approved actually by the law. It's not even just a presidential executive order. So I think for now, we need to ignore them, because the more we pay attention to these Republican states, the more we pay attention to McCarthy, they're going to keep doing this and threatening it. Already it's very bad. They will not take any more new DACA cases. They will not take any more new parole DACA cases. And anybody who had DACA always thought one day maybe we can get a green card as a permanent resolution. It's not just a work permit and stop deportation. Right now, there's no more green cards. So the damage is already done. It couldn't get any worse than that. For now, I think it's fine. Keep the faith in our American immigration system. Keep doing your extensions and work hard. Save your money, file your tax return, no criminal records. Just prove to these Republicans that we are right. We are brought into America when we're very young. Nothing in America is a right, it's a privilege to be here, to be covered by deportation. And I think we just have to go on. You can't let fear dominate us. We cannot let fear. That's what Martin Luther King said. And this month is the Black History Month. The African American people, the Black people, and the immigrants, we are on the same march. Even the law is the same. 1964, Equal Rights Act, Equal Voting Act, 1965, 1964, the Color Quota Act. We always are behind them. on something. So now again, we're learning from them. This is a Black History Month. We have to learn how they let their voice to be heard, and we will let our voice to be heard.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And well, some people are asking to bring the camera down. Ms. Wong is not in the studio in Cleveland, so uh, please just forgive us for.
Let me try. Okay,
Okay,
I
that's
can show off my beautiful necklace. Yeah, thank you.
thank you
I'm
so much, Ms.
sorry, it's
Wong.
just I'm just in my own office here, quietly working.
Yes,
Oh, I think it's
and Ms.
better.
Wong has an awesome, a beautiful studio in the city of Cleveland, but she's now in Durham, uh, North Carolina. So thank you so much for the effort that you are making, Ms. Wong, to do this show. Okay, so the next question is the Memphis office open?
We have a Memphis office, but so far I have not been traveling there. So even though it's open because the court is in Memphis, so far we are not seeing clients there. So
Yeah,
we need to
maybe.
see us. You need to see. I'll be in Nashville tomorrow. Actually, I'm flying directly in tonight. I'll be in Nashville tomorrow, but in Memphis office we're not seeing clients.
Yes. So please, if you can call, the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984, and please ask for an appointment tomorrow in the city of Nashville. You can also have an appointment over the phone or over a video call, video conference. But tomorrow, Miss Wong is going to be in the Nashville office. Is not too far from Memphis, and if maybe you can go there and have an appointment with the attorney Margaret W. Wong. 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Let's start with the questions, Miss Wong. Is there a plan for parolees after 1 year?
See, that's another thing. There's no plan yet. And right now, but you can do an extension. There are two ways to do these cases. You either file asylum or you can get a work permit under the parole for the four countries with Nicaraguan, Venezuelan, Cubans, and Haiti, and also, of course, Ukraine. You can do the work permit under the parolee itself. It's not a work permit. You have to file a 765 for the work permit. But right now, there's no plan. But you could individually file a re-parole, a new parole with ICE on this program. But there's no plan. It's not like a TPS where they've announced an extension of TPS or DED like Hong Kong. They announced it just a few days ago on January 19th. Parole is just a way for you to enter legally to America for 1 year and to apply for work permit. There's no future plans for that, at least for now.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And well, for everybody who is joining us today, just please feel free to call the office with the attorney Margaret W. Wong. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Okay, Ms. Wong, this question is, can I apply for someone who is detained at the border? He is 17 but is about to turn 18. He doesn't have my husband's last name. And my husband thought he was his son until now. They did a DNA test and it resulted 0% probabilities to be his son. Anyways, we love this kid because we raised him and we took care of
I'm
him,
sorry.
and we want to help him in. But they said at the border that we cannot apply for him because it looks like a human trafficking.
Right. It's a
Is
TP.
there a way that we can help this kid stay in the United States?
See, right now that's weird because any unaccompanied minor, I presume he came alone under the age of 18. Normally they release him after even a few hours, so something's weird going on. So I presume he's not an unaccompanied minor. But even if he came with an adult who thought he's a mother or father or uncle or something, he should have been released because most minors are being released. There may be something more to your story, or double check if it came with an uncle or something. And anybody can sign for an unaccompanied minor. That means a minor kid, as a friend, as a relative, as a humanitarian worker, as a church member. So I think there may be something wrong in this case, because any minor, they normally don't deport nowadays under Biden.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Don't forget the phone number is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984. Yeah, it's a total of 9 offices in the United States, in Atlanta, Chicago, Cleveland, Columbus, Memphis, Minneapolis, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is just one, 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Ms. Wong, any update on the prosecutorial discretion?
Yes, there is update. In November 2022, new things came out saying that, see, you know how when first PD came out like 2 or 3 years ago, when Biden came in, people don't want it because you can dismiss, you can terminate, which means that you could get your bond money back, but you cannot extend work permit. So in November 2022, now they're saying if you have any visa petition pending, like my father's a citizen, my father is sponsoring me, or I'm a citizen, I'm sponsoring my wife, then they may do a PD, but they also may do a status. Status is a fourth thing. So instead of dismissal, termination, admin close, which is only Sixth Circuit, to do a 601A, now they're talking about status. Status means that they will put your case aside, just like an admin close, but it's not closed. It's just status. So at least you can protect work permit, but you don't have to go to court. So it depends on your case. Maybe you can ask for status. Depends on the court. I've seen some courts approving that, because rumor is that they are only coming in from headquarters. But I've seen other courts that's approving it already, but some courts, they have not been on the status. In Ohio, I've not seen cases that's approved, but I've seen Memphis approving some, or at least they'll work with us to see what we can do about this PD. So it depends on the court, depends on the kindness of the prosecutors, and depends on the kindness of the judge. We just got a really interesting decision from Philadelphia, from Judge Garcia. I was laughing, but he's very young, but she's very young. But so it depends on the judge. Sometimes they do lighten up and laugh at themselves. So it depends on the judge.
Well, I remember a judge, I'm not going to say where, but it was somewhere in the United States. My dad was given a ticket for passing a school bus, and this judge was really exhausted. And he said, "This is the part that I hate the most of my job, which is watching the video to see if you pass the bus or not. If you pass the bus, I'll give you the chance to talk, but 90% of the people have to pay their fine." So my dad wanted to talk. They gave a lot of chances. Okay, 250 and you leave now. $200 you admit that you're guilty and just leave. 150 and, well, a lot of people. There was like 70 people, and in the end it was only 10. My dad wanted to talk, and this judge heard my dad. My dad even cried at that time. And finally he said, "Okay, sit down there," after he heard my dad. And when I asked for the documents, it was 250. So he heard my dad, but there was no changes. He was not in a good mood. So the discretion is more about knowing the law and how much mercy you want to apply to the case before the decision. So it's about luck sometimes, right, Ms. Wong?
Mm-hmm. And I think as we get older, I also look at the government lawyers. Normally, some of the mean ones are normally the women. I think women have a lot more to prove. Immigration is still a man's world. It's sort of racist, not as old as before, but I went through all that. And as a young woman lawyer, I also have something to prove. So I notice now the MENA lawyers, not so much the judges, because they used to like to hire the older ones. Now they hire younger ones now. We have more to prove. So the younger woman lawyers normally are meaner for the government. It used to be, I said, oh, they're young, let them get away. Now I'm just very angry, because even though you're mean, you don't have to be that mean. I mean, to the point, they don't respond to your calls, they don't respond to your emails. If you ask for something, they just say, oh, you're always asking for this and that. I mean, it's our job to ask, right? Maybe you have the government behind you. Of course, they overstate. Of course, they have a criminal record. Otherwise, why do you think they're in deportation proceedings? So it's, but normally it's the women lawyers I notice that have a problem. And I think they have a lot more to prove to their bosses than just a normal white lawyer or normal black lawyer who's a man.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer and for sharing your knowledge about all of these cases. If you have any question, please feel free to ask your question to this Facebook Live or to call 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Ms. Wong, the person that sent the question about the kid, they say, since he's a minor, can we file for juvenile status?
Some states are over, you need to be under 18, Ohio, Atlanta, Mississippi is under 21. So it depends on how old, but you need him out of jail before you file for the dependency juvenile status. It's a 4-step. First, you need a state court. It could be a probate court, juvenile court, or divorce court if parents are going through divorce to get the dependency action. Then you do the 360. Then you get the work permit, which is a Biden new thing for 4 years, a C-14. And then depends if it's Mexico, it's a little bit faster, maybe 3 years. If it's India, China is faster. But if it's Central America, it's taking 4 or 5 years to get the green card. But at least now you get the work permit. But you need him out of jail and depends on state. Because juvenile status, SIJ, or dependency action, they depends on the state. Some state, like Franklin County in Ohio, in Columbus, really, really bad. So you have to move out of Franklin to go. It's just like abortion, right? You need to go to a state that they will do it. It's the same case. I mean, it's controversial. But depends on the state, depends on a local municipality, depends on the county. Yes, you could do it. But you need him out of jail and go to the state.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And now we have a very interesting question here, which says, is it bad to get an SSN for work only?
Oh, no. When I came to America, I was a foreign student in 1969. Immediately, they give you a social, and that's a blank social in 1969. By the 90s, they give you another type of social saying good for work only. And now they give you a third kind of social, but the number remains the same. Absolutely not. You need a social. Because when you work, it doesn't matter if they pay you 1099 or W-2, you need a social so the employer can do the tax deduction and report you. It's absolutely not bad. It's actually good. All people in America should have a social. Only the rich people who comes to America, all those Egyptians or Middle Eastern people or anybody from France, from Paris, they come to America and buy a condo in New York, like those penthouses for millions. Those people don't need a social because they set a trust. They use the trust, and the trusts also have their own ID, which is also their social. Or they set up a corporation to buy a condo. So anybody in America need a number. It could be a tax ID number, which is a TIN number. It could be a company, a trust number. It could be a company number. It could be anything, but you need a number. Absolutely not bad. You need the social to work.
Yeah, Ms. Wong, I think this person is asking about the foamy.
Oh, the fake ones. Oh, yes, it's very bad. The laws have changed. In the olden days, the Puerto Ricans, they'll just give you a social. You don't even buy it. They just say, oh, you can use my social because then they get all your retirements. And in the olden days, most people like us, we go home. We just work here, make the money, file the tax return. We never get money back. So they would, I shouldn't mention just Puerto Ricans. I mean, anybody who speaks same language as people like us, you know. So after you go home, because you never claim, and we tend to just pay the tax. So they get your social. So a lot of these people, they get a lot of retirement, right? Because we all pay tax into that number. But now the law changed. I would not use as fake, because now if they find out, they charge you criminal with using because it's not like in the olden days, and people still do it, because you give $80 to someone, $100, they give you a number that actually looks real. So you use that. I mean, I guess, but then when you file tax return, on top you file your real name, your real ITIN number. In the bottom, you use either your real name or your fake name and a fake social. That's how you file tax return. As long as you file tax return with a real tax ID number, you're okay to use the fake one, because that's tax law. Under immigration law or a driver's license law, if you use a fake social, and it's sad because in Ohio, you don't even need a social or fake or real. If they ask you, do you have a social, you just say no. They'll still give you a driver's license as long as you have a work permit, you know. So I would not use any more fake stuff, social to go to work. But sometimes you need it, because otherwise they won't hire you. But tax return, always use your tax ID number. But yeah, it's not good to use a social, because it's criminal.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Yeah, and
Years and years ago, they don't charge you with criminal words. You have 274C. That's why most Mexicans, because in those days, the Central Americans didn't come as much as the Mexicans. And they don't know Mexican people. You know, they're just very honest, kind people. They come to work and they use a number and they leave. But now laws are evolving, especially under Trump and even under Bush. The social laws have completely changed, because then you're dealing with Medicaid fraud, Medicare fraud, and also we have a lot of women, even American people, like I don't have insurance, right? But I need a surgery. You have insurance, you're my best friend. So I'll use your name to go to the hospital. And these are American people, these are not people like us. They'll use your name, your number, and go your ID and go to the hospital to do surgery. That's why anytime you use someone's name and someone's number, it's not just a real or fake thing. It's a lot of people are doing it more for benefits, for fraud. And I know you and I are doing it just for tax return and to work.
yeah, that's true. And it's called, is that what it's called? Impersonation?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, falsify or
I've
whatever.
heard
Yeah.
the term, but I'm not sure about it. But yeah, I think it's impersonation when you try to pretend that you are someone else. So
And let
that's
me show
very,
you another impersonation, because in China, you only have one child policy. And I learned this because I have so many Chinese clients. So what they do is they'll use, and because they don't know it's a boy or girl, and they only want boys, they don't want girl, or another couple cannot be pregnant. So the woman would go sit next to the wife, pretend she's like a nanny or a rich woman's friend. And now, if it's a baby that's a girl, they'll put down another woman's name as she's the mother. And that's how they bring them to America, because this childless woman now got pregnant in China. And then immigration started suspecting. And they say, hey, how did you get pregnant? You didn't go to China until a week ago, So now we have to say, and then we do the DNA for the man. The man was never in America. So that's how I learned all this. Years ago, that's what they do in the Chinese villages. Yeah,
wow,
and
that's
I like to
incredible.
tell you stories about fake stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for all this knowledge that you are sharing with us today. Don't forget that the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Attorney Margaret W. Wong, with over 9 offices in the United States and 46 years working on the immigration field since 1977, and now is one of the major law firms in the United States of America. 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Good evening. I filed I-130 for my wife. It has been 2 years and she's still in Nigeria. Why is it taking so long?
It does, especially in countries like Nigeria and Ghana, because it depends on how many times. So I don't know if your I-130 is not approved by the first step. So there are three steps. First, you file the I-130. So that means you went back there and married her, and then you come back and file, or you already married her before you got the green card and citizen, and now you file. So number one. Number two then is once you file the I-130 with USCIS with Part A, because it's a spouse case, maybe it was still not approved, which is very normal. But even if it's approved, you go to the NVC. Now it's only 4 weeks. You pay and then it goes to Nigeria. Nigeria is really, really slow. It's actually slower than China. It's slower than Korea. It's slower than Philippines. It's just a very, very high fraud. And also because of the religion, and also because of the high marriage fraud in America, not so much in the past 5 or 6 years because of the oil wealth. And now it's very hard to get visas out now. So you're probably one of those either people who came recently or came a long, long time ago. So, but if the I-130 was not approved within 2 years in USCIS, the first step is pretty normal. But because you're from Nigeria, they're going to check it because they check a lot of Nigerian and Ghanaian cases.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And by the way, Ms. Wong is traveling back to New York. New York is missing you a lot, Ms. Wong. It's not the same without you there in that city, in that beautiful city of New York. So, are you planning to go back anytime soon?
Yes, I already bought the tickets. I'll be back on February. I don't remember exact date. It's a Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, I'll be back.
Okay, perfect. So Ms. Wong is going to be in the office of New York in a few days. So please call the office. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Is the phone number that you need to call in order to talk to the attorney Margaret W. Wong and make your appointment in the city of New York, that she will be traveling very soon. Also, Ms. Wong is going to be tomorrow in Nashville, Tennessee. And next week, she will be here in Atlanta in the office on next Thursday. So please give us a call, 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Okay, somebody is starting a question, but let's let this person finish the question. My spouse filed for me June 2021, but we don't know the rest of the question. Please, if you can write it down, and we can read it after the next question. When is a good time for filing H-1B for a movie engineer? I am from India.
Okay. It starts on February, and you don't even need a lawyer now because they changed the system. So there was a time you file on April 1st. Everything has to get in by April 1st with the whole file. Now it's a lottery. So if you already got the job offer, there's a shortage of engineer in America, you could file on March 1st. It depends on the H-1B. It just announced it. So you could start filing in February. Actually, it's March. They'll let you know by March sometime, and you file. Once you got into the lottery, you could file between April 1st and April 5th for the H-1B. All you have to do is go to uscis.gov and get into the lottery. I don't know if you have an employer yet, but movie engineers are pretty easy. It's not difficult. And I don't know if you have a 3-year or 4-year or 5-year engineering degree from India or from England, but if it's a 3-year degree, you need to do that. We use Morningside to do equivalency and look into USCIS. You don't need a lawyer for the first step. You should use a lawyer. Another thing is, because you're a movie engineer, depends on how old you are, look at the O visa. O visa, there's no deadline. And also, if you have done already like a few movies and your byline, at the end of the movie, beginning of the movie, your name is there, it doesn't have to be prominent, you may qualify for an O visa. O visa standard is lower. Biden came up with a new national interest waiver and O visa. As long as you are STEM and engineering is STEM, it's not as difficult as in the olden days to get O visa. or the EB, National Security Green Card. So look into that. Aside from just on age, if you only have a bachelor, you only have 65,000. If you have a master, you have two chances. They pick that's another change. They used to pick bachelor first and go into master. Now they take master first and then go into bachelor. So the master's people have two chances to get into the lottery.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Wong. We have two more questions. I don't know if you have time, Miss Wong.
Yes, I do.
Okay, perfect. So bless you all. Says my spouse filed for me in June 2021, documentarily qualified in August 2022. When do I expect my interview letter from NVC? I am from Ghana. My spouse is U.S. citizen.
Okay, when you say documentary qualified in August, I don't know what you mean. Do you mean that I-130 is approved because it's a WAWA, it's an abuse case, then you have bona fideness and you can get a C-14 work permit. But it seems like you came from Ghana on a legally, so you also filed a 45, the green card. So you filed I-130 45, so then probably it's an interview. And New York is the only state that if you didn't pass the first interview, they give you a Stokes interview in a matter of 3 to 6 weeks. So, but I don't know what you meant by documentary qualified in August 2022, because if it's an I-130, there's no such thing.
Okay, yeah. So it's interesting. Maybe just give us a call. The phone number is 216-279-3984. Also, it's interesting or important the city that you are at so that you can make the appointment and talk to the attorney Margaret W. Wong. You can even do it over the phone, but if you are in one of the cities that she has offices, you can just go there, make your appointment, and she will be happy to receive you in the office. The next question is Mariposa Serna.
Hey,
Um,
congratulations.
from Mexico. She says, I received spousal I-130 approved. I was brought into the country as a child about 35 years ago from Mexico. I know the next step is the I-601A waiver. What is the approval
Right.
rate on
What's the
this?
turnaround time? Turnaround time right now is 3.5 years. And approval rate, I would suspect in our office is like 99%. So I would suspect the worldwide approval rate is at least 80, 85. It's not that hard, but if I were you, since you were about 35 years ago in Mexico, you were brought when you were a child, so it must be only 40, 42 years old. In those days, people leave and come back, leave and come back. So number one, you need to ask, when you were a child, did you leave and come back? Because they don't give you fingerprints until you're 12 or 14 years old, number one. Number two is double check with your mom. Was she ever here? Because 35 years ago, if you're 5 or 6 years old, moms in those days are very innocent. They just come to work in a field and leave. Double check with your mom. Are you even born in America? When you're 2 days old, they took you back and they registered you in Mexico. I have cases like that. They never even thought about it. They just thought they're brought here. It turned out that mom gave birth to them and they were so scared. Because in the early days, especially the Mexicans that works in fields, they thought the government is going to take the kids away because they have no papers and it's more midwife. So check with your mom and check the hospital records, because sometimes moms are not that smart, you know. I mean, sorry, but if that's the case, I would double check. Did you ever leave and come back? Leave and come back. I would also double check where anybody file for you. I would also check if you have 245I. Did an Alpatron file for you before April 1? Double check all that, because you've been here 35 years. And you shouldn't have to wait for another 3.5, even though I gave you time frame 3.5. After the approval, you still have to update the DS to 60. That will take another 7 to 8 months. And by then, it's like, oof, you probably 48, 42. By then, you'll be 47, 48. I think it's stupid. So I would check all that, because someone who has been here for so long, there must be other ways to help you than just 601A. It's very slow.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And yeah, just by curiosity, um, I never asked a lady her age, but if this person was born after 1981, she could. she could have applied for DACA in the past, right?
Right. Yeah. If
Yeah,
you're born after June 15th of 1981, you're right. And I don't know.
1981.
Right.
Yes, and
Maybe-
also, oh, she was born in 80, so she's out of the date. She was born before that.
Oh, I was born in 80. Oh my gosh, 80. Oh, missed
Just
it. Yeah.
one year before DACA. Okay, Miss Wong, we keep receiving more and more questions. Um, Last one. What are the first steps to get my husband here from Nigeria?
Filing one third. If you already married him, collect all the paperwork. Make sure he was never married and divorced, and make sure you have other children. If you ever married a mother, filed I-130. But as the other question is, it takes a long time for Nigerian marriages because they America immigration think they're protecting the hearts of American citizens, so they do scrutinize Nigerian cases. And if you have never met him and only went there once to marry him and come back, also you need to look at your tax return. The normal tax return for someone who have no kids is only 23,000. But the higher you report on your tax return, the lesser fraud. So Nigerian, those are tough cases because, and also American embassy, they don't listen to you. It's not like at least with Germany, with Israel, with China, they listen. You know, you can email them, or you know, you can go to Washington front desk or China desk or something. Nigeria is a very hard place, and it takes years for everything.
Okay.
Check everything out.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. I'm not going to take any more of your time. I'll see you next week on Wednesday and then on Thursday here in the city of Atlanta. So thank you so much. See you next time. Take care. Have a good lunch. And well, see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you next time.
Yeah.
And for everybody who has questions today and who have joined our show today, please feel free to call. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. And she will be able to help you out with your case. Should you get a lawyer, if you are working to get an immigration relief, you need a lawyer. Maybe just for a consultation, maybe just to take your case, but you need to make sure that your case is going to be filed correctly and you are going to have a good result in your immigration case. 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. See you next time. My name is Juan Carlos Brando, and thank you so much for having us today.